and welcome to Mistakes We've Made
and Debts We've Paid,
a storytelling podcast about a lifetime of mistakes, mishaps, and poor choices, where we really lean into the pain and laugh at all our cringy moments. Big and small, we tell them all. I'm your host, Royce Emery.
And I'm Wayne Cummins.
And welcome to our show.
All right, and now here we are recording live from a shutdown Fred's Fish Fry somewhere deep on the west side. This time brought to you by the shutdown Fred's Fish Fry.
Yeah, people don't know what Fred's Fish Fry is. It's
where
the most obvious drug front I've ever seen.
Right? Yeah, there's no disillusionment there. You're not going for the fish, because if you are, you're going to leave way worse than if you'd just done the crack.
Yeah, so I've gone in for the fish, and the cashier is behind bars. Like the burglar bars that you
Or are you? Like, what's the perception there?
They're like,
who's the real prisoner?
If you stay in here, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So,
you become part of the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
almost like a scared straight thing.
There's absolutely none of them on the north side.
Yeah.
I rarely see them anymore from now that I live in nice neighborhoods. But yeah, I used to live by them all the time. And I got to be honest, man, I haven't had it in years because I know better. You know, I've grown up and my stomach can't take what it used to. I've swallowed enough semen. But Fred's Fish Fry semen. Huh? So thank you. But no, I actually used to like Fred's Fish Fry when I was a kid. I loved fried fish, and it was it was good. It was cheap. It was fast food fried fish. That's hard to say. Fast food fried fish. And I think they had like okra and macaroni and stuff, right?
Dude.
Like just good, like basically it was the churches of fish, but even worse than churches.
Even worse than Long John's.
Yeah, even worse than Long John Silver's, which is like
hard to do, but they did it.
Yeah, if you want the runniest shits of your life, you go to Long John's and then Taco Bell. It's a twofer. I've done it. I've done it before.
If you're looking to lose weight quick,
yeah, if you've got to
slim down for that beach body,
right?
That's what I did before our beach trips. No,
is that why you look so good and emaciated?
That and the cocaine,
like a model. You know? You were just doing the model lifestyle. It was fine.
Like my mom.
That's right.
That's how she got introduced into it.
To Fred's Fish Fry. She was a spokesperson. Come on down, Fred's Fish Fry. It's good stuff. We'll fry whatever the fuck you want. We'll throw it in the batter.
And then you'll get fried.
You'll get fried. So how was your week, dude?
It was great, dude. I had a lot of fun setting up our little studio.
This is great, man.
Abandoned Fred's.
Yeah, and I can't even smell the grease anymore.
It's all the CBD.
Hey. I'm glad, dude. Nothing other than just setting this place up and getting it ready.
It's been work, dude. Work has been a fucking nightmare. I had like one day off in 3 weeks.
Fuck.
And I spent it helping my buddy change the oil in his girlfriend's sister's truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird 7th degree of separation.
Yeah, so I came over for us to like record and write, just to shoot the shit, hang out, just get some social interaction that wasn't a fucking customer. And he's like, hey, would you mind helping to change the oil? And I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, you got wrangled into this last minute.
Yeah. No, I was like...
Well, because, yeah, for anyone who knows how to do anything with cars, changing the oil is not that hard.
Yeah, dude. I was like, it would fucking take 5-10 minutes, whatever. Yeah. No big deal. And I stopped, pick up the shit, and I get there, and my buddy's like, hey, dude, I told you 10W30. You grabbed 10W40. I was like, son of a bitch. All right, well, I'll go exchange it. That's my bad.
Okay.
I go exchange it.
Another trip.
Yeah, another trip. It's annoying, but it's my own fault. I can't get mad at anybody.
Okay. But you did.
I did. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, this isn't what I want to do.
Right. I'm doing this for someone else.
Yeah. I don't even change my own oil.
Right. Neither do I. I'll be honest. As easy as we say it is, it's still kind of a hassle when you can just go get it done for the same price.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't work, own oil.
Yeah. If you don't have the hookup.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. It's the same price.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
If you know which oil you need and the oil filter, you can just go steal it, dude. They're not going to stop you. I'm just kidding.
You're describing every problem in my life with this one simple answer. Just go fucking steal it.
Just go take it. You think the guy behind the register cares? He's getting paid minimum wage.
You're not wrong, but, cameras. But anyway.
You'd be surprised at the places that don't have
Don't start. I don't think the viewers or listeners know where you work specifically, but let's not give them reason to go start stealing.
Oh, my places have cameras. It's
Okay.
the competition.
Oh, of course, of course.
So I'm frustrated, and then I'm fucking making trip number 2. But trip number 2 turned into 3 and then 4 and
From just getting oil?
yeah, dude. So I looked up the year, make, and model,
Mm-hmm.
and I grabbed the oil filter from that.
Okay. Oh, so you need to change the filter too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm doing it right because it's not my
Sure. Which is also not that hard.
Yeah, super easy
Right.
usually. But
well, right. I was gonna say usually.
Fucking Thor tightened this one, dude. Like, usually you should be able to break it loose by hand if you have a little bit of
absolutely.
hand strength.
Yeah.
And so I bought a special tool, and it didn't work, so I had to go buy another tool.
I've seen exactly what you're talking about.
And that tool didn't fucking work, dude. And I am starting to fucking lose my cool because at first I was joking with my buddy, and I was like, dude, we're starting at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock's going to turn to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock's going to... And I went on to 2. And
Jesus.
with my joke...
Morning? At night?
No. In the morning,
God.
yeah. So my little joke came to life. It did turn into fucking like noon or 1 o'clock. And
I hate that shit.
I don't know if someone swapped the motor in that truck or something, but the oil filter that is supposed to fit that truck didn't fucking fit that truck. So I had to take the oil filter off by breaking it off, by like tearing it apart and fucking finally being able to take it off with some special pliers.
This is how I masturbate, by the way. The exact same process.
By special pliers or by listening to people talk about mechanics? And then what?
Oh, man, how did you rip the oil filter off? I
bet you were dirty, right?
Special tool.
I got a special tool for you.
All right. Sorry.
And so I'm just fucking frustrated, dude. And it's not his fault. It's not his girlfriend's fault. But I was definitely taking it out on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault that things are going wrong, but he was the catalyst of why you're here, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But we ended up like, I actually had to leave for a little bit just so I could like decompress.
Get some air, yeah.
Get some air. And I spent some time with the family. Got some dinner.
Beat up your kids.
That's what I mean. That's how I decompress.
Take it out on the little ones.
Get over your little punching bag, little speed bag.
Hang them upside down.
You can with the little one. The bigger one's too long now. It's more of a heavy bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's when you get really with body work going.
But no, I came back over and we shot the shit. It turned out to be a good night after that. And
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
good,
too bad.
Man. That's really good.
What about your week?
It's been all right. I've been working a lot. Literally every weekend for the past 3 weeks, they've been putting me a double shift on Saturdays, like the busiest day of the week. We're working a skeleton crew, and I work for a company that just doesn't give a fuck about hours or labor, and they just want to squeeze every little, pinch of blood out of the turnip. And so every Saturday for the last 3 weeks, including this one coming up, I've got a double shift. And it just sucks. And I've been like, hey, I'm going to take a 2-hour break.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, well, you got a 1-hour break today. And I'm like, no, I've got a 2-hour break. Look again. And then they turn around and I'm like, Batman, just gone.
Just gone. Mario'd out of there.
Yeah, exactly. I've done that actually a couple times in the last couple of weeks where I kind of just let myself, I see myself out, as they say, where I'm just like, I know I'm good. I'm not going to talk to any management. I'm just going to walk. And it's fine.
You can't fire me.
They really do. They do need me right now. I keep that rock star attitude at work, and I shouldn't. But it's when you're stretched thin, you're like, fuck it. I don't give a shit what these people think of me today. I'm going to do what I want. So there's been that. Aside from that, man, I don't know. Sober as a loon.
That's rough.
And it was St. Patty's Day. It just happened.
Dude, I didn't even know it was St. Patty's Day until the day was over.
Yeah?
Because...
Did you work that day?
Yeah, I worked.
Yeah, and probably like the day after.
13-hour day that
day.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, I have that day forever embedded in my memory because it's my ex-wife's birthday.
Oh, man.
So it's just one of those...
She couldn't be more white.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, she was a very white person overall. But it's just, I always remember when it happens. Like the day of, it's one of those things, though, that even that back then when we were together and I cared, the first years.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't towards the end. That didn't last
as we call
long.
the first act in the movie. No, it was a nice thing. But then I generally, even then, I always forgot about it until the day of or the day before. I was like, oh, fuck, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
I have to rush to do. I have a horrible memory. I've always had a horrible memory.
Me too, dude.
It's just something
It's been hard to keep track of what stories I have shared. And then even like
Sure,
what makes it
that
past
too.
editing too. Like
that grandpa thing.
Yeah.
You told this story, Royce.
Today.
Yeah. You didn't even finish and you started it over. But yeah, man, so I've had a rough life.
I was going to say, how far are you going to go back on that one? Because any amount of time would have worked on
since
that.
about 4 or 5 years old.
Years.
No, yeah, I've been all right, though, otherwise. It's been fine. I've been getting through it. As always, I'm alive.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I've got cats at home that I can take it out on. No, I'm kidding. I like those little bastards. So you don't have a story yet this week? As of now, anyway?
As of now, no.
Okay, that might change. We'll see. I don't really have a concrete one, but I have a couple things I can bring up that I had thought of last
From
month.
what you were telling me, I got a real Hills Have Eyes vibe.
And that's always been my point to it. So I want to talk about when I was younger, in my late teens, early 20s, I used to do a lot of what they call urban exploration, which as poor kids just called dicking around and like trespassing.
In places you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, you're just trespassing.
Dude, it's so much fun. Like, you could just be standing there, but you're in a spot you're not supposed to be, so there's that thrill.
Yeah, and I mean, 9 out of 10 times you get caught in these places, no one really cares. But, you know, every once in a while you get in fucking big trouble, depending on who owns the land or why you're there or what's there.
So, used to be whenever a cop would catch you skating in a spot, they'd pull up slowly and just be like, hey, get the fuck out of here, and, you know, you get the fuck out, like, you give them a little back talk, whatever. It's the banter's there. But one time
it's romantic.
One time we were skating at a spot and 2 cop cars pull up, and like from a distance, like maybe 20 yards away, and they get out of the car and 4 cops just come sprinting at us, dude, full sprint.
Christ.
And we got the fuck out of there, dude. Because, like I said, it's never that.
You matched a description. That's what that was.
Either that or they were tired of coming back to fucking kick us out of there.
Maybe they're like, this is it. Turn your fucking body cams off, boys. We're going hard. Yeah, dude. I've had that happen a few times. Cops. I've had a lot of stuff. So I also, when I was much younger, when I was in high school, I was a tagger, as they call it, graffiti artist. My name, my tag was Deuce.
Deuce?
Yeah, and I have a bunch of origin stories for the name Deuce. It's a name that to this day still haunts me a little bit.
Yeah.
And part of it's my own doing. Initially, God forbid me for actually telling this, a lot of people who even know the name Deuce more than my own name don't know the origin story of it. Hope they're not listening or watching. Originally, I was called Deuce way back in middle school because I had big, poofy, curly hair, and Deuce Bigelow was a very popular film.
Dude, I fucking love Deuce Bigelow, dude.
I thought it was funny. I did not want to emulate Rob Schneider
Right?
in any way, shape, or form.
Rob Schneider wants to be Rob
Exactly.
Schneider.
Maybe most of all. But no. He seems to be doing well. I think he's got a podcast that does well.
Who doesn't have a podcast now?
Who doesn't? Who fucking doesn't? Hey,
Right?
who's got 2 thumbs and sucks at this? So
Rob Schneider.
Guess who's never going to be on our show? So, any celebrity. So, no, I was originally called Deuce because of that. And even as a young kid, I learned real quickly to just fold into the insults, especially as being a white kid growing up in ghetto places. You're just like, all right, cool. Well, call me what you want. I'm going to come back with something different, but I'm not going to like get upset at the insult because that's just fuel.
It's absolutely. And once you fucking give into it and like start owning it, the fun is
they lose their point in doing it.
Yeah.
And then that's when it quickly within maybe a year at school it became just a nickname that nobody remembered why they called me that. And eventually my hair grew out and I looked completely different and it just became Deuce. People knew me as Deuce, and I used to joke all the different, like, I came up with a bunch of different like Joker origin stories for the name. Oh, it's because I have 2 penises. And I spent time in France. And then another time I was like, oh, I used to be really good at tennis, but I don't play anymore. like no, we don't talk about it.
I'm so glad it didn't come from like shit. I thought for some reason
there was also that. You know what was also great too is not until like late into high school did someone make the pun douchebag, and it would have been years after I'd had that nickname, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And it was another time I'd shut something down that somebody wanted to hurt me with, and I was like, no, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, that's clever. Congratulations. I wanted to high-five her.
But she was crying and upset when she called it.
Dude, I had so many enemies in high school that I just, encouraged horrible moments with, made people cry. There was this raver girl, and I call it the Laurel and Hardy, where a very thin person and a very fat person are good friends or are in a relationship together. Yeah. I see that, and people don't get it anymore because Laurel and Hardy is such an old reference. But anytime I see it in public, I'm like, hey, there's a Laurel and Hardy right there. Like, who's the top? Who's the bottom? There used to be these two girls in one of my algebra class or something, and we established early on in that class that we just did not like each other for some reason. I was a class clown, very loud personality, and that just immediately made people not like me a lot of times. And so these two chicks, I would just ridicule them endlessly in class and just try to make the class laugh as much as possible and piss them off at the same time, and a lot of times get in trouble for it, but every now and then I'd catch the teacher laughing too, which was my end goal.
Dude, that is awesome.
That's always the end goal.
Being able to make the teacher laugh?
Exactly, while ridiculing another student, because that's they know they shouldn't be. They know they shouldn't be. One of the ones that really got her once is one of the big friend. She was getting real pissed at me one day because I was fucking with the skinny one, the little raver girl. And I said something to the raver girl, like...
I know you're saying raver, but it sounds close to raven, and it just gets me
keeps
excited.
Getting you hard. Keep bumping the table.
Exactly.
No, she was this tiny little raver girl, like glow sticks.
Yeah.
She wore the suspenders, and I think the one joke that like sent her friend over the edge for some reason was like, hey, when you wear those suspenders, aren't you afraid of them snapping your spine? Because you're made out of toothpicks. And her friend like got pissed, and she like slammed up on her table, and she's like, don't make me come over there. And I was like, slow down, big, and if you move too fast, the friction between your thighs might split an atom, take us all out. And like could see the algebra teacher fucking laugh. She's like, there's science behind that. I like it.
That's a big joke for a high schooler, dude.
I was on my game early on, man. And, I was good at spitting, too, so I just got that. The lyricist of my jokes was maybe better then than it is now, before too many of the drugs.
Right, before the drugs got a hold of your brain and just fucking scrambled them up.
Yeah, that horrible commercial that's completely inaccurate. But Jennifer Jason Leigh is hot, or was. So, anyway... going back to the urban exploration, back in the heyday, what we would do is we'd just go trespass. Like, we have nothing better to do. We're poor. One of us has a car. Let's just go out late at night and find a place to, jump a fence. And,
right.
Early on it was tagging. And, man, I used to, like, go into, like, underpasses, down tunnels, ran into a lot of junkies and homeless people, and just kind of like just a nod thing, like, hey, you're doing something you shouldn't, I'm doing something I shouldn't. Right. Hey, buddy, you smell bad.
And then you're like, you're mean.
Right. I've been outside all day. Didn't have my deodorant with me. So that started it, and then eventually when I started working at the theater with Mario and the Lasses, the brothers, we started doing it a lot then after work. We would, after work would be 1 a.m, and we'd still be up, and we'd have nothing to do, so we'd jump in Mario's shitty old Oldsmobile.
Yeah, dude.
The one that actually he sold to Kelly for, I think, like $400. Yeah.
I always wondered what happened to it, because
he sold it to Kelly.
Badass, dude.
I guess.
Like, not if that's your only source of transportation.
Which it was, of course. At the time, of course. He sold it once he got another car. But there was another slight funny story about that. We were in the car together once, and he had a dry erase board and a marker in the car because his horn didn't work. So in order to give signals and like basically get shit across to people, he would just really quickly write something on the dry erase board and show it to them, like, like turn signal asshole, something like that. And like, yeah, which is already hilarious. And so one of the first times I get into his car and I see that, I'm like, I've got to take advantage of a dry erase board here and write something ridiculous and just not let him know about it. So I think I was in either the back seat or there was other people in the car keeping his attention, and I just kind of did it on my own and didn't say anything about it, didn't draw attention to it. I just wrote something.
I wish I had that confidence in my penmanship, dude. I can hardly read.
So other people can actually read it afterwards. That you can leave a note that people will be able to read. No, so you'd be fucked if you were on a deserted island. They'd finally get your bottle, be like, I don't know what the fuck this says.
Yeah, no, Did I write this? Because I can't
it comes back to you. You have no idea. I think I've been keeping a correspondence with myself. So no, I took a marker from his ashtray. He had an ashtray just filled with pins and markers. Just like it looked like, you know, when those comics where they overstuff their mouth with cigarettes. Like it looked like that, but it's just a bunch of pins and markers sticking out and things to write with. And I decided to take a marker, and I didn't look what it was.
Reminds me of a subreddit that was popular for a while.
Oh God, was it just a subreddit? Sure.
It's called Butthole Sharpie. You never heard of that?
No.
It's that, but with buttholes.
Of course it is. Did they then try to draw afterwards? Is it beautiful? So I took one of the markers just randomly, and I wrote on the dry erase board, Lesbos love vag. That's all I wrote, Lesbos love vag. Something simple.
That's true.
You know, nice and in big block letters. And I put it without him seeing it. I put the marker back. Didn't realize at the time there was a permanent marker. Felt really bad just for that alone, not for the consequences that followed. But so he's in the car with a good friend of ours named Jaeger. I won't say his full name, but did you ever meet Mr. Jaeger?
That sounds familiar.
Okay. I won't say his first name, but you may or may not have met him. I think he was before your time at the theaters. He ended up moving, but he stayed in touch with Mario and some of us. Real fun dude. Speaking of dude, he was known for saying that. He'd be a dude. That was his catchphrase. Dude, tacos, my place, Saturday. Dude. That was just him. He was a really nice dude, very, very bro, surfer kind of guy, attitude, but just super nice guy. And he's in Mario's car, and they're riding around somewhere, and they get pulled over. It's just a casual thing. It was that Oldsmobile, so it was probably like a blinker that was out or something. You know, Mario's a very straight edge kind of guy. He knows that at worst this is a ticket. You know, and so the cop comes up, and literally as he's coming up, Jaeger's in his passenger seat, and he finds the dry erase board, and he lifts it up, and right as the cop pulls up, Jaeger goes, "Dude, Lesbos," and he immediately the cop sees that. It goes, Lesbos love what? And Mario is looking for his information as he hears that, and he just has that like fucking Wayne, just like, and he I remember him saying that he's not even looking at the cop, and he just turns to him with this apology, like, "Officer, that's not me, man. That's not me." All he can think
like
to say,
drugs, dude.
"Yeah, that's not me, man." And of course, he doesn't get in trouble for it, because why would
Officer
you?
Maui Wowie.
It was the Officer Maui Wowie. He loved it. He's like, "That's clever, sir. I like what you got going on. Get out of here, boys. You keep on keeping on."
Go on, get.
So, a tangent, but we used to ride around in that Oldsmobile, and we'd go to these different places at the end of the night, and with the Alaskas and stuff, and we'd find abandoned, crazy places and explore them. We'd go to like the Donkey Lady Bridge, which for those of you who aren't grown up in San Antonio or this part of Texas, because I'm sure it translates over to some of these other cities and towns.
It has to, dude. It's so big here.
It's got to be a Houston thing and a Dallas thing probably, but I'm sure it's much more centralized to the Latin cities, you know?
For sure.
But the Donkey Lady, if I'm not mistaken, on top is a donkey, right? And on the bottom is a lady?
No.
No, is it the other way around?
Like a horrible centaur.
That's what I thought. But I always assumed she had a donkey face.
Do you just assume that she had like a fat lady ass, or?
She had an ass, all right. Big fuzzy one. No, so, okay, in my head it made more sense that she'd have like a woman top part and then donkey legs.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the actual do
Yeah.
you know anything about the lore of the donkey lady?
I don't. I know I'm Hispanic, but dude, I disappoint.
I know.
Every
I know more
way.
Hispanic than you should do. You do. I know. But I've tasted your beans. They're horrible.
My semen?
Yeah, I was gonna say your sweaty beans.
No, I've just heard like, oh, the donkey lady.
The donkey lady, yeah. And growing up, especially in ghettos and stuff, I heard about her all the time. I never really looked into it because even as a kid, I'm like, stupid. Was she like gonna be like find you in the middle like just sneak up on you?
It sounds hilarious, dude.
It does. It fucking does. Donkeys are usually very like nice pack animals.
Right.
No,
they're
like as in they carry things, pack
yeah,
animals.
Gotcha.
Calm down, Royce. No, you're wrong, sir.
They're known for being assholes. That's where being an ass.
An ass. Well, I didn't because like generally every time I see like donkeys, they're pretty cool creatures. They're like happy little animals.
Dude, they like stomp dogs to death.
Jesus. Yeah, the dark side of donkeys. So the donkey lady is a thing in San Antonio and I'm sure other parts of South Texas where half woman, half donkey. Apparently there's a bridge in San Antonio that she is connected to, lurks around. I don't know, sells drugs under. I don't fucking know.
Is having sex with her bestiality?
Depends on what half.
Gotcha. That's literally the law of the line right there. The line of the law.
So, yeah, we would go check like the bridge out, and it was cool. It was a cool looking bridge. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's deserted as hell. I think it was like you bridged or bordered off. You couldn't get there by car. You had to hop a thing and get there. And then we checked out a couple different abandoned hospitals and an asylum. The asylum was my favorite.
The insane asylum, dude.
Yes. Yeah. Way deep on like the south side, I think, right?
Yeah, dude.
Because even now I can barely remember where it was. Mario drove there.
Dude, it's so funny because there was a fence around that place, but there would be a line to get in there like in an amusement park.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sure if you were just to go like put a vest on, you could have been collecting a fucking
that would be fucking brilliant.
entry
Oh my
fee.
God.
Yeah.
It's a smart idea. So we went one night, and thankfully it wasn't busy. We were the only car that was parked around that we saw. And we go in, and first of all, it's, you know, you have to hop a fence or go through, you know, a part that might be opened by this point. There's, I'm sure, a bunch of holes in that fence if they haven't refixed it. And you get in there, and it's you got to walk through a bunch of fucking like brush. It's overgrown like crazy there. And what scared me way more than prospects of ghosts or murderers was all the fucking spiders we had to cross by. Jesus. Like these giant webs with these spiders the size of, you know, your fucking fist with the legs spread out and everything.
Yeah, the yellow ones with like the black dots.
Yes, God, those things are fucking
massive.
terrifying. Yeah, and they hang right above where you have to walk and shit, and you're just looking up there and you're thinking like they're raptors, like one's gonna come from the side while you have their attention.
Clever girl.
Right? And so that freaked me out first of all, and we finally get through all the fucking heavy bush, and
which is usually fun.
Sure it is. Ugh.
You don't like bush?
No.
Dude, I like to fucking feel like I'm chopping through a safari. I'm just kidding.
I've got a lot of stand-up material about it. Actually, I think one of the silliest jokes I've ever written, took me a long time to say it with a straight face, is one that I've never done on stage because it was one of the first jokes I ever wrote before I even knew I wanted to do stand-up. And I always wanted to write a joke about a guy who had incredibly chapped lips going on down on a girl that had a huge bush, and just the friction caused a fire. And so, like, he comes up, his fucking beard's on fire, like, oh, her bush is on fire. I just thought that'd be a great scenario.
That would be. That would make probably a better skit.
Right. It's more of like a sitcom well, no, maybe not a sitcom. But yeah, much more of a
I wish
TV
sitcoms were that dirty.
Yeah, you're right. Most of it, at least.
That'd be bearable then.
Yeah, I would love to hear a laugh track on that. Oh! Third degree burns on your labia.
That's just the herp.
That's our tag for the episode. Third degree burns on your labia. That's how I give the I don't need to be arrested for anything new. So
I thought you were gonna say I don't need to give away my sex secrets.
My sex secrets.
Like,
it's a Tabasco chapstick. Ghost pepper chapstick.
That's begging for a UTI.
Right, Jesus. So we went through the spider infested forest to get there. And, you know, we get there and it's exactly what you think. It's just this fucking broken windows, run down, creepy looking building. It's dark as fuck, middle of the night. And we're going through, and I don't know, this was years ago. This was over a decade ago, and there was still shit inside. I don't remember when that place shut down, but, you know.
Tables and shit,
yeah,
dude.
All kinds of stuff still in there. And we're going through, and it's a creepy fucking place. It looks like the set of a Saw film or something, or Hostel. And, you know, I'm having fun, but, like, some of the people we're with are pretty superstitious or freaking out, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Not Will, of course. Will is just having as much fun as me, but he's trying to, like, lead the pack. He's just up ahead. What's this? What's that? Let's go over here to this dark area. And I'm just like, all right, man. But, you know, like, I'm still chilling because you don't know what's going to, like, the floor is going to fall out or, you know.
It's an abandoned building.
There could be homeless people there. And not like they're going to attack you, but you never fucking know.
Right.
You could step on a fucking needle.
Dude, if I was asleep there and homeless, I'd be scared as fuck if someone
Could you
walked
imagine,
in. Yeah,
right?
Dude,
Yeah.
I would fucking attack someone if they walked in on me.
And so we're going through, and we go to the fucking basement. We're going down into the lower levels. And
God damn, dude, that's further than I've ever been in.
Dude, yeah.
And I went during the day, dude.
Especially then, dude, I just did not care. one of the running jokes that Mario, and I say jokes, what Mario and I had is that, like, if it weren't for the other people in the car, we probably would have just driven off a bridge sooner or later or something. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, not to bring it down. We had a moment once where we were like in the car and we were just talking about our depressing fucking lives, going back and forth because he's had some trauma and shit. Not to blast him on our show, but it come to a point where, like, yeah, man, I've definitely thought about ending it, and be cool to go out doing something flashy. And then we looked in the back, and both the Alaskas are sleeping in the back seat, and we're like, oh, can't kill those little puppy dogs. Couldn't do that,
Those sweethearts, look at that pervert.
Yeah, we just kick them out the car and then do it. Make them watch. So no, that little pervert, that sweet little pervert. He wasn't then. He was such an innocent person when we first met him.
I just imagine him sleeping with like a plushie, like a little
body pillow, one of those big like hentai, anime ones.
It's always sticky.
Some buff-looking dude from like a video game. Anyway,
a Street Fighter character.
It probably would be, yeah. Ryu. So we get in there, we're going down to the basement, and there's like literally like jars with shit still in it. Like not a lot, but like there's liquid and stuff, and it just looks so fucking cool. And we come down there, and all of a sudden we stumble on these two hillbillies who are like drunk, pretty big white dudes, like legit redneck hillbillies. And they're like, hey, what's going on, gosh? Hey, welcome. How's
Someone
it going?
that confident to see you in a place like that, I would be.
And one of them's already in his hand a giant machete.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
How have I not heard this story?
I'm surprised. And they've got alcohol with them. Like I'm pretty sure the dude with the machete had a jug in his other hand. Like maybe I'm remembering it. He's got the suspenders, the overalls, no shirt, right? Big trucker hat. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to your end.
One of the straps is busted.
Yeah. No, but so we get down to these two hillbilly dudes, and they're friendly, but they're high intense energy guys. But immediately they're like, "Hey, come on, we're doing exploring too. You want to check it out?" And so we were like very hesitantly like, "Well, let's not turn them down because
you don't want to upset these guys,
right? Because there's a couple of us in the group who are not going to be able to outrun these dudes."
So. Everyone but you and Mario?
Pretty well. No, Alfonso and Will were both in good shape back then.
Gotcha. Yeah, they played a lot of soccer.
They did play a lot of soccer. And then, they were both into martial arts and stuff. That's how, actually, Alfonso and I used to click initially. Was we would brule, as we called it, dueling with brooms in the theaters. And, God, we broke so many brooms. There was one theater in particular. I think it was one of the major ones, like one of the big ones. I was about to say the number. Get a little specific. It was one of the bigger theaters, and I don't know if it was just because we would always brule in there or that's where we would end up having to throw them, but we must have thrown like a dozen or more broken brooms behind that screen because there was just behind the screens there was just
assholes, dude.
Dead zone.
I cleaned a whole bunch of broken brooms and I'm like, what the fuck?
We even said like, I wonder when someone finally finds these, what the fuck they're gonna
They got
think.
passed down to me, dude.
That's perfect. The best one actually was like, and I think one person saw us. We met in a theater, like it was just the two of us cleaning. Giant theater, completely dead in there, nobody. And we were both on opposite sides of one row, and we did the whole like running at each other, screaming like, ah! That's awesome. And as we clashed, both of our brooms broke at the same time and went flying in different directions.
Epic, dude.
Yeah.
I've wanted to run at someone with a weapon so bad my entire life.
It was so satisfying. And we hear laughing, and we look up, and like one of the bow ties is just watching us from the door. Just like, you guys are managers.
That's right. Clean this shit up.
Clean this up. But no, so it was all of us there that night, and of course, we're like hesitantly going with these two hillbillies, like, all right, cool, just don't kill us, don't turn that machete on us, you stay ahead. But Will, fucking God bless him, man, he's like actively interacting with these dudes. He's like up ahead with them, like literally turning corners before the rest of us with hillbilly group. Like it was fucking a scene from a movie. They'd be like, hey, come check out what's around here. They disarray around a corner, and we'll be like, what's going on? And he'd go around the fucking corner. God, and all of us are like looking like, this. I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave. Like I know he's never coming back, and I'm not going with him.
Right.
So
that's how the rest of the people die in the horror movie.
Exactly. And so you hear the one one loud bang, we all go to look, everyone's gone, but then it's one by one, we all go.
Yep.
So
It's like the movie Clue.
yeah. Oh, that's what you go for, Clue.
You know, that even a horror movie.
Horrible, terrifying movie where they all died. No, so, but, luckily we all survived. Nobody got their heads chopped off that night. The guys ended up being pretty chill. We had some beers with them.
That's sweet, man.
They were,
That's awesome.
super redneck, but nice guys. Not saying that redneck is bad, but, a little scary in the middle of the night
sure.
in an abandoned building.
Especially when you got some brownies with you, dude.
Right? He's like, I love enchiladas. About to chop me up a couple. And so that was an instance of urban exploration that could have gone worse. There was another time, the tagging actually, much younger. This was actually when I was with our friend Matt, who we've mentioned in some of these stories. He used to tag as well, and we were like, man, early 20s, and I didn't even tag anymore, but we had some friends who did, and Matt used to do it as well, and we're like, yeah, fuck it, it's been a couple years, let's go do that. And so we go to an underpass that's like way out, like deep north side, like pretty much starting to get into the woods.
And after seeing some of your art, man, I'm very curious to see what your tags would look like.
Thank you. I thought it was all right. I never got to the level I wanted to be at because I didn't do it as often as much as I'd like to, and I could have practiced more, but I really liked it. And I liked the graffiti style of art.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, I sent you the updated
I saw,
Maui Wowie.
yeah. We're going to be letting those shirts out here pretty soon.
Awesome.
Officer Maui Wowie shirts, fucking sweatshirts. This
Now's
one's a
the
little
perfect time.
faded, dude. I'm upset that it's faded. But
I still like it, and I think it fits with the color. I'm kind of wondering if it is faded because of the color.
That's what the website said.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't think so.
I mean, if you get it on a white one, it would probably pop a lot more.
I have it on a white shirt. and
Oh,
it did
really?
not. No.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I still kind of like it. I actually
That's good.
don't mind the
Okay.
faded look. I think it looks a little more like
I'm just
vintage.
scared after the washes, like we said.
Sure. I don't think the faded color is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about it flaking off. But regardless, you should buy some. Please buy some and support us. Although I do want to, I don't want to put our I guess, distributor on blast, but I kind of want to get a new one. Or
Yeah.
if anyone who's listening to us, watching us, knows a good source that we can put out apparel for, because this one's great so far. We're not going to knock it, but they do take a hefty chunk.
Dude, they take 80%.
Pretty much all of it, yeah.
80%, yeah.
Which I understand, they're doing all the work for the most part, but that is my logo. I
Right.
did all the design.
Yeah.
We are the ones who are putting the notoriety out there. It'd be nice to get a little bit more, just more, income flow from that.
For sure.
But because selling drugs ain't doing it, folks. There's a recession. I don't know if y'all knew. No,
There-
I don't sell drugs. I do not sell drugs.
They're starting to be legal now, and that's bad for us.
That's
It's
bad
for
for
the little
us.
guy. But yeah, now they're on TeePublic. If whatever you follow us on, I dropped the link in the link tree. Just click get our merch, and it's right there. Like I said, all the T-shirts, the hats.
We
face
got
masks.
the logo for now, but we are gonna have the Maui Wowie shirt coming out anytime.
By the
now.
time you're hearing this, it will be up.
Nice. And then hopefully after that, pretty soon, we'll have, I'm going to try to get our equal logos done.
Sweet.
And then hopefully a unified logo, one of both of us together.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice. So anyway, we're out with my friend Matt and a couple other people's. Hobby Lobby Holland is there. I call him Hobby Lobby Holland because one story. Eventually, I've talked about smoking before, and I've got enough stories to fill, like I've said, probably an hour or two. One of which is I've had to meet a few contacts, a few suppliers through Hobby Lobby Holland. He was my contact, and you might guess where he worked at the time.
Dude, anytime I've had to meet a new drug dealer, I just get so nervous, dude. I'm just an anxious guy.
It's a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. I talk about it in my stand-up. The way I say it is that it's meeting especially a new drug dealer. Like, if you always hope to be familiar with your guy because at least you get used to the weirdness. Yeah. I like to say that the drug dealer is one of the weirdest animals in the animal kingdom. They're hard to understand. No two are alike. They're all obnoxious. But the formula that I've found anyway is that they seem like an autistic person who watched the Jason Bourne movies and was like, I can do this espionage thing, but for my own gain. And so like the times you meet a new one, it's like usually at 2 a.m. in like a Dairy Queen parking lot, because that's real conspicuous.
Well, dude, I've always looked like a nerd or a narc, and so they've never felt comfortable selling to me.
Yeah, I've been there, man. You get in they get in the backseat of your fucking car, like this Driving Miss Daisy situation, and so you can't you feel weird looking back at them. You just kind of want to play it cool. And this is an exaggeration, but I talk about the instance, he gets in the back, it's like, all right, man, who sent you? And you have to use this code or this contact name. It's like a Hobby Lobby Holland. It's like, yeah, what do you say to tell you or tell me? It's like, you said that you trim trees in the spring for 30 and 20 in the winter. And he's like, yeah, I trim spring trees, but I don't do winter work anymore. You a fucking cop? And he pulls a gun out, and you're like, oh, jeez, I just want to fucking get high, man. I just want to get high. Dude. It didn't exactly happen that way, but there are times where I've had to use code, and I'm like, dude, clearly, like...
Dude, you're selling fucking dime bags. Like,
yeah, you know, like, I'm not buying kilos from you here, Pablo. Like, fuck, man, just give me the fucking stuff. I'm just trying to get high. Thankfully, I don't have to go through that anymore. Wink, wink. No, so, so we're under this bridge. We're under this bridge, right? We go down to this place, middle of the night. It's like, I don't know, probably around 12 to 2, give or take, in that window, the witching hour, as they say. And, you know, like, we're all super stoned in our early 20s. This is like right when I was really getting into marijuana, where I was like, oh, this can take you to space. This doesn't just make me forget what I'm doing. This actually, like, will open my chakras.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're stupid high, and that's why we're like, oh, yeah, let's go tagging again. I remember doing this when I was 16. It's a great idea now that I've got a job and I have, you know, things I can lose.
Dude, when I've gotten that high, I've held stuff in my hand and forgot what I was looking at. And you just go to another planet, dude.
You really do. And so it's me, it's Matt, it's Hobby Lobby Holland, and it's a couple other people. This dude whose idea it was to go tagging. He's like this tall smoker skater kid, which is actually exactly what Hobby Lobby Holland is. And so we're all there, and a couple of chicks too. So we're all trying to look cool, and we go to this underpass, and you have to go through this long, like, marsh. Basically, this ditch that it rained recently. It was muddy as fuck. I had boots on, luckily, but still, I'm like, I don't want to be in this shit. Like, why this place? I could have told you a million other places we could have been, but whatever. We're there, and we're going through this area, and we had to hop a tiny fence. So I'm like, man, it's no big deal. And as we're going through, we don't even get to the bridge. I've got like a backpack with, like, you know, spray cans and shit. And a couple of us have that, you know. This one dude's like smoking a cigarette. So we're not prepared to meet any kind of authoritative figure at all. Which, you know, you always should be when trespassing, folks. Always be ready for that. And so we're out there, and we don't even, I don't think, get to the bridge because I don't remember ever tagging anything that night. And all of a sudden, we hear some noises, like, from the direction we had already come, where the fence and so we'd pass some, like, structures and stuff, but it was all like industrial shit. We didn't think we had to worry about it. No cars, no people. Looked like way past closing for all these places. And so all of a sudden we hear some noise, and we all just kind of quiet out. We'd heard dogs barking in the distance, but we're like, maybe that's just, you know, like somebody's pet, or, you know, like a guard dog somewhere at a junkyard or something, because we're in like an industrial area.
Yeah, the canine unit is pretty rare to see.
Right. But then all of a sudden the barking's getting louder. Yeah, and aggressive. And then we see a light flashing, like a flashlight, straight towards us.
Fuck, dude.
The beam. And in the beam, I see a dog running at us.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And I just start, I don't say shit. I just start running the opposite direction. And everyone thankfully gets the idea. Like, you see the light, you hear the bark, and you know what's going on. Yeah. But I'm the first one to book it. And I start running, and immediately everyone's running with me. And I'm like an idiot. I'm kind of leading the pack with this other dude who I don't even remember his name, this tall guy who was smoking. And I remember the smoking because I'll get to that in a second. It's stuck in my brain now. And so
he's running, still smoking.
Yeah. And so
what a badass.
Well, wait for it. Okay. So we start. Well, he and I were leading the pack, so we're way out ahead, and like we're almost under the fucking bridge, and everyone else is like where they can get to the path way easier. And so they book it to the path, which leads, I think, like over to the top of the bridge, and they're just going to go that way. Fuck it. Like, we came from a different direction, but, you know, we can get back to the car from another way, so fuck it. And so they start running, we start running, and we're kind of running in a direction where we have to, like, go towards the dog first. And then, Jesus Christ, it's just fucking terrifying, right? We get to that turn pretty quick, thankfully, and I'm not looking back, but I can hear the dog running, and in my head, I'm like, I think there's a fence between us. I hope there's a fence between us. It's not a tall one. Fuck. And I don't know what kind of dog it is, but it's big enough to see from afar. And so I'm like, fuck.
Or at least here, dude.
Yeah, and I look over at the dude who was running with us, and he's got the cigarette still in his mouth, and I just cannot forget the imagery of it, because he's got his pants, he's a skater, you know, he's got like the chains on his pants and shit, and they're not very well fitted for him. And so he's like trying to keep his pants up, and at the same time he's trying to smoke. And he looks over at me, and he's got this big grin as he's also got the cigarette. And right as he does this, ooh, he just fucking face plants, just catches a log or something, and face plants right into the mud.
Fuck.
Full body, just half mud, half not. You know, just like a fucking perfect goddamn line down the middle.
And they're like, you can stop running because you're not getting in the car.
Right? But he gets up, right? He immediately pops back up, the adrenaline and everything. And thankfully now I've got a lead just in case the dog does catch up.
No longer smiling.
I'm sure. I couldn't tell. And so we get back and we found a place to hose him off. It was a truck, so he rode in the back. We just literally just hosed him off at somebody's house nearby.
Nice.
But like, thankfully, whoever was chasing us didn't catch up, and we ended up getting on the road, and then just fucking, dude, I've never been so like heart pumping in my life. No idea like who it was or what, you know.
Yeah.
Could have been anything. And not the first time I've been chased while urban exploring. I'm going to get to that one now. So last little story about urban exploring. I used to have a friend of mine, we'll call him Grill. We'll call him the good old Grill, the Grill Master. And he and I were like just hardcore smoking buddies. We're still friends. I just haven't hung out with him a long time because I don't smoke anymore.
Dude, all your buddies have such cool nicknames.
It works too, because like if you told anyone in my friend group, if I just said Grill, they'd immediately know who I was talking about.
Nice.
The Grill Man.
Growing up, I always wanted to be part of a friend group. Like, oh, that's fucking so and so, and they never fucking stuck.
Good old Big Dick Royce. Good old.
I got made fun of so much just because my dick is too fat. I'm just kidding.
It's like a fucking soda can down there.
Like a cheese wheel.
Is that Gouda?
Dude, it's hilarious. I've been on a Gouda kick lately.
I love Gouda, dude.
Fuck yeah,
love
dude.
Gouda. There was a... I hope they sponsor us. Crossroads Barbecue. They used to. They took it off their fucking menu because I was apparently one of the only people who ordered it. But they had a Gouda mac and cheese that was one of the best things I've ever put inside of me. Oh my God, and that's counting you.
I was gonna say,
I know, as an insult to you. You could never come close to this Gouda. All right? The smell, maybe.
I could come on it.
I could come on it. I wouldn't make it better. I usually like that. No, so I'll turn it back if it doesn't have the cum. No,
if it doesn't have the cum, I send it back.
Send it back. So my last story about urban exploring was now I've lost it. When I used to smoke with the Grill Man. The Grill Man. So we used to do something that we called smoking in nature. We would hike somewhere.
What would you do?
Yeah, what would we do? I couldn't imagine. We'd put on our VR headsets, right? And then have sex with each other.
Because there's nothing more natural than that, right?
It's two men smoking meat. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this Grill Master. Oh man, he used to put me on the spit roast. No. Oh Christ. Okay, no. We used to love getting high in nature. Dude, we'd go to like Enchanted Rock. We'd do bouldering and stuff. You know, I used to find like caves and places where we'd just get stoned, and so many cool places where you'd be within ears, like, and something else that's crazy about Enchanted Rock is you can hear everyone there. There's just the acoustics and the fact that there's no, real, no real, what is the one more? I'm like, not society, but there's no real, I guess society. What's not society, but
I get what you're saying. Like the people around.
Right. There's no urban environment nearby. There's people, but they're all like, they're hiking and shit. It's you're in nature. And so you can hear for like half a fucking mile. And so like we're all secluded, but you can just hear people like, "You gonna take the picture, Sam? Sam, you gonna take the picture? It's hot as hell. I'm gonna stand here for half an hour." We're just like getting stoned and just like these fucking people. Shh. And so we would do that a lot, and we'd had a lot of fun doing that. We'd take video. We'd find these like nice little like trails that no one else is on, and we'd come across animals, and I'd do like my best high version of David Attenborough, like doing a documentary where like Grill would just record me on his phone. He lost the one where we had most of the videos. It was a YouTube series I always wanted to do, just getting high in nature.
Nice.
And I just think I'd watch a caterpillar and he'd record my voice over it. Be like, "This caterpillar is known as the booty call caterpillar. The reason for that is all the other insects want to fuck it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Look at how it shakes. That's a rump maker." And he had like hours of that just on his fucking phone. And
Dude,
then
I would love if this guy's place got searched. And raided. Like,
there's one FBI agent who has to listen to all this shit. Like, Jesus Christ. And so there, we do that a lot.
Fact checking everything.
Actually, he's kind of right. Surprisingly intelligent. So we used to get high in nature all the time, and a lot of times we go in the middle of the night. And he's random night owl too, or at least was. And he'd like text me at like 12 or something. "What you doing?" This was when I was married and shit too. So like my wife would be like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "It's Grill." I'd be like, "Oh, okay." He's like, she knew who I was hanging out with. Sometimes I'd like call her from like the places we would go. We had a place called The Cliff, and it was just a place in one of the parks in San Antonio here that there's just a bunch of trails that not a lot of people go down, and a couple tiny little cliffs that you can climb and stuff, which you're not supposed to. Dude, we literally, there was a couple times where we almost died climbing this cliff, and it's not crazy tall. It's maybe 2 stories, 2.5 at the most.
That's a lot to fall off of.
It can be, right? And especially if you're tumbling down rocks and stuff. But it was such loose earth that there was just a couple times where we'd grab something and a giant piece would just come off. And you'd have to, if you were the first person going up, you'd be like, "Heads up, fucking right now."
Jesus Christ,
rock
dude.
coming down. And so one time in particular, there was always a giant boulder we'd have to, like, really hard to get over because it stuck out of the cliff. Climbing up it, you would literally have to like swing an arm or a leg over, and like just all your strength, like, you'd have to completely pull yourself over this really outcropped rock.
Making my butt pucker, dude.
Dude, and that's half the reason you do it. Like as someone
True.
who's not done traditional like rope climbing, safety climbing, but done bouldering and stuff a lot. It's really fun when it's the most dangerous. And so we used to always rely on that fucking boulder. After like maybe a year or two of going to the place, one day we go and maybe, it'd been, I don't know, a couple weeks, not even maybe a month at the most since we'd been last, and that boulder is just gone. Just giant, weighs maybe 3-4 times your body weight boulder, 2 stories up, just clearly had fallen and broken into a million pieces at the bottom because we didn't find it.
That wasn't.
I know, right?
When you were fucking using it, dude.
I know, fucking terrifying. So, there was other times where we were like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. But fuck it, we're having fun still. And so we'd go up there a lot, and one night we decided to go to the cliff, and we'd been there a few nights before, but usually we're there during the day. It's a little more dangerous at night, sure, but, it's also really cool, and it's at a part of town where it's just a really nice view. Great place to get high in the middle of the night and pretty secluded. Every now and then we'd run into people out there. It's one of those places where I think a lot of the other stoners would go and people doing other things and drinking and things. But normally, at most, we'd run into a stoner every like 5th time we'd go out, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd share. Other times we'd be like, "I don't want to hang out with you. You look racist."
But yeah, dude, smoking weed and like you running across someone that is also smoking weed, you run into some cool people.
It's such a cool thing. It's a really cool thing. It makes me wish I had been, like in my 20s back in like the late 60s, early 70s. I feel like it probably happened a lot more then.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
A lot more people were cooler about it. Now, I feel like it's coming back though.
Yeah, it's popular. Don't get me wrong. I mean, something I wanted to bring up with my probation officer and some of the meetings that I have to go through for that stuff is that like how much can you prosecute something where like half the chicks on Tinder are like, "I'm 420 friendly," and it's like when it's on everybody's dating profile, like come on, man, it's a little more than past the zeitgeist. But anyway, so we used to go out there every now and then at night, and we went out one night, and this is years ago that this happened, but we're out there, perfectly great night, fucking fantastic air, we're really enjoying it. I used to make him paranoid because I would practice martial arts on the edge of the cliff.
Jesus, dude.
I would get real stoned and just be like, "Let's see how long I can hold a sidekick," and just, and he would be like, "Why do you have to do that, man?"
I wouldn't
go
with you.
He'd be like, "You're ruining my heart. Like you're gonna fucking Karate Kid off the side of this fucking cliff, dude. I'm gonna have to explain to your fucking wife how you died." No, so we're out there just having fun, having another night. And all of a sudden we hear some noises. And where this area is like relatively close to an apartment complex. It's in a park, but it's in the middle of the city, or not the middle of the city, but it's in the city. So there's residentials nearby. That's what it's in the middle of. There's houses to one area. There's apartments and some other stuff to another area, and we're close to the apartments, but we're not real close. Like you have to, we've been through that direction. Sometimes if we didn't want to go through the whole park, we'd just go through the apartments, but you still have to dig through some brush. There's no paths there, so it's a lot of just like brush to get through. It's a pretty thick foresty area. And so we hear some like rustling around, and it sounds like maybe somebody opening a gate or something.
Oh.
And so we shut the fuck up, and we're like, all right, let's just listen. And plenty of times we've heard people on their patio having a party or something. We just make sure that they're just...
Daytime or nighttime?
The nighttime.
Okay.
This is middle of the fucking night. We're talking like I said, witching hour. So
oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that cool phrase you used earlier. I'm sorry.
Scares the shit out of me, dude. I'm not even religious or like superstitious.
Oh, really? The witching hour?
Yeah.
It is one of those, the uha, the bruja.
Yeah.
The ojo. So, middle of the fucking night, and we hear this noise, so we shut the fuck up, and it kind of goes away. So we're like, cool. And Grill, God bless him, I'm a dude who does not get paranoid easily. Like, I used to smoke in front of cops. As long as I don't think they can smell it or they're directly paying attention to me, I don't give a fuck. It looks like a cigarette. If I'm acting like it's a cigarette, what attention am I going to draw?
Right.
So
that's some confidence that I believe in, but I don't think I could practice that myself.
I'm the complexion that it works. So, and that's something else I've gotten away with. I'm a pretty white-looking dude. I'm a nerdy white-looking dude, and I drive a relatively nice car. I don't have like rims or anything. Like
right.
I'm not the type to get profiled normally. So I take advantage of that when I can.
Good.
Or I used to anyway. And so, where was this getting at with my smoking?
The people coming out. Hearing people, door, gate.
Right. So I'm usually the least type to get paranoid. But, if, in this situation, I was like, shutting the fuck up. Immediately, as soon as the noise stops, Grill just turns the music that he had on his phone back up to blast. He's like, oh, yeah, so, I was talking about... And I'm like, dude, just give it a minute, man. Like, shut the fuck up. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to listen, and I'm not trying to ruin his high or anything, so I'm letting him listen to his music and stuff. And all of a sudden, we hear some more noise. Now it sounds like rustling through the woods. So we shut up again. All of a sudden the noise goes down again, and now I'm like, okay, the noise is aware of us, but we're in the woods. We're in the woods, and there's been times where animals have come by. A couple times where they scared the shit out of us.
Yeah, and they can sound pretty big.
Yeah, well, they are, because there was a time where a fucking herd of deer ran right past us. It was cool, but it was terrifying, and that was also middle of the night. It's always been middle of the night.
Especially if you're high, dude. Everything is so
because it always was. So it was like, it was amplified by crazy each time. There was two occasions. Once where it was a herd of deer. I don't know if that's the right term, but a herd of deer come rushing like maybe 3-4 feet from our backs, and they just literally come running by us, like kick up a cloud.
Christ,
I could
dude.
barely tell they were deer because it was just smoke going by, dust. And like literally, I just froze in place because I knew they weren't coming straight at me. So I was just like, just don't cause them to veer off and fucking antler to the face while I'm sitting down smoking weed at the edge of this cliff.
Yeah, they're
Go
stupid.
off with
They'll
the fucking deer.
They run into cars.
They're dumb animals, and they have a tendency to like. I think it's called target fixation, where as soon as they see something, they just run at it. So. That happened once. We were hanging out another time where we were just heading through the path to the cliff, and there's one area right before you get there where you have like maybe 2 feet of clearance, so you have to just kind of like either hunch down or crawl through this tunnel of tree and brush and stuff. It's not that long, but maybe like 4 or 5 yards of doing that. It's fucking killer on your knees. And so I'm doing that one time, and all of a sudden I see something a black mass coming towards me. And I just I freaked the fuck out. I almost fall off the fucking like path. It wasn't quite the cliff, but I would have tumbled down. And luckily it freaks out too. And it I barely caught a glimpse of it, and I think it was an armadillo. I love armadillos too, but it freaks out and runs the other fucking direction.
They're fast as fuck too.
Yeah, and they're fucking adorable. And so that happened, and I was like, I'm so glad I didn't kick it or something. I would have felt so bad. And so we've had instances of like animals coming up us in the middle of the night. So I'm kind of thinking maybe that's what this is. And they react to your sound too. The deer, before they happened, there was a couple times where I'm like, I think I hear something, but then it would stop, and then all of a sudden just right by us. So we're there that night, and we hear the rustling, and then we shut up, and it shuts up. I'm like, all right, that's fucking creepy, but it could still be an animal. But this time, Grill is like, no, all right, I won't turn the music back on. So we listen for a while longer, and then it starts up again, and now it sounds like footsteps. It's like it's almost totally. I'm like 90% sure it's footsteps, and it's just coming towards us. It's getting louder.
Jesus.
And we're just totally quiet. And there's two ways to get off of this cliff: go straight down, climbing it, or this long, hard path that I had spoken about through the tunnel, where you're gonna wind down. It takes for a while to get away from this area, and
which sounds horrible at night.
Yeah. Which is that's the way we came up, because like we're not going to climb the cliff in the middle of the night, so let's go up the path, and it's a bit of a work to get there. So anyway, the noise is picking up, and then finally, in my deepest man voice, I'm like, hey, who the fuck is that? And the noise stops again, but only for a second. Then it starts picking really up, and then I'm like, no, fuck it, let's just do this. And he and I fucking shimmied down like spider monkeys on that cliff. I've never climbed that fast in my life. Like, I was way scareder of how fast I was climbing down this cliff than who or whatever was coming towards us. But there was a lot of fear of the person up there too, because you could tell that they were, large enough to make some pretty hefty footstep sounds, and they're not announcing themselves. Cops will usually do that. They're gonna have a flashlight. They're gonna announce themselves, and they're not gonna like silently sneak up on you first and then come at you real quick.
Me so much goddamn anxiety,
dude. It was terrifying. And what's even better is that I don't know if it was this night or it had been relatively previous, but Grill and I had talked about filming a horror movie out there. So we'd been bouncing a bunch of ideas back and forth of like, okay, this would be cool, like whatever a killer looked like, and it was just too much was fitting the scenario. It felt like one of those Twilight Zones where you create the horror. And so we shimmy the fuck down this cliff, like what usually takes us 5-10 minutes, well, like 5-6 minutes, like 20 seconds. We just fucking down.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and thankfully neither of us got hurt. I slipped. Grill did slip a little bit. I don't know how easy it'll be to cut that
Not
shit.
easy now.
I know, I'm sorry, man.
It's all good.
So Grill, as we're going down, did actually slip a little bit on the cliff, but thankfully it wasn't too bad, and I didn't suffer any injuries that time. But we got down quick, and we get to the bottom, this little ravine at the very bottom, and we're just like, all right, I don't think that person's going to do it too. And we're kind of just looking up, and we get a little bit of ways, but we're looking up, we're trying to like stay in the dark, and it's real fucking dark. There's the tree line and brush and everything, so we're pretty sure we're hidden. And we wait maybe like 10-15 seconds, and all of a sudden a giant rock comes down the fucking cliff.
Jesus.
Just boosh.
All right, so we lost video, but we're gonna keep going.
Okay, cool. So this giant fucking rock comes down the cliff, and luckily we had already cleared that area, and we'd gotten like maybe 10-15 feet away from the base of the cliff that we climb. And, otherwise it could have fucking hit one of us and maybe fucking killed us.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Smash our goddamn head. And so then we fucking book it through the forest. But yeah, probably not a cop.
Which is so much scarier,
It
dude.
is,
I would prefer
like
a cop.
Yeah, in that case, because like whoever was coming at us that night had some ill intent at best.
Jesus, dude. Trying to sneak up on kids in the fucking...
Well, not kids. We're in our 20s, but still.
I'd like to call them kids. I don't know
Sure.
if they're old yet.
I feel like a kid now often. When I look at my fucking bank account, I feel like a fucking kid. But yeah, that was definitely one of the cringier, scarier urban exploration times of my life. And what's funny is that he and I still went out there at a night afterwards.
Jesus,
it took us a while before we did again, but we
I'd
eventually
be
did.
scared as fuck to go back, dude.
Yeah, every now and then when we would go, I'd still worry about it. And don't get me wrong, I'd always watch my back a lot more after that. But
At least bring a pocket knife or something.
Oh, I always had a weapon
Good,
on
yeah,
me,
yeah,
for sure, always. Yeah, but that was more for just like animals or stuff. I never thought I'd have to use it on a fucking mystery person.
Psychopath.
Yeah,
That's terrifying, dude.
Yeah, it was. You're not wrong. But it's also kind of cool, It's like I can say that I got chased through the woods at night and I had to climb down a cliff.
I'm cool not saying that.
That's cool. I can keep that off my list.
Right.
So that was my stories for this week.
That was great, dude. That's our fucking time. Twice as long as we usually go, but that's cool.
Nice. I filled the air, man. I'm good at that.
Fuck yeah. Filled me too. Big shout out to Zach. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for buying our merch.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, you bought my groceries for the week.
Now I'm going to eat them.
So if anyone else wants to donate, it's, like I said, right under the link on whatever you're listening on. If you're on our Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, just click the link. It's called Linktree. You can find our merch there. You can find, it's called Buy Me a Coffee.
Okay.
And you can just donate straight to us like they did this week.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Cool. Let's if we can, let's send them a sticker or something.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Zach gave me his address. Mailed him some stickers, but
Nice.
snail mail. So we'll see how soon that gets.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody for listening. See y'all next week.
All right, later, y'all.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already on Spotify, iTunes, the RSS feed, whatever the fuck you're listening on.
We won't know your love is real unless you show it. And that does mean dick pics, but don't send that to the RSS feed.
Physical gratification is the only type I like, so go ahead and very aggressively touch that subscribe button for me.
Smash it like you're smashing your nephew. I don't know.
Or niece, whatever. We don't judge.
Whatever you're into, it's fine. Creepy uncles swing both ways.